me control it. Oh, dear Jesus.
It doesn't seem real. In many people's minds, self-driving cars are a futuristic, almost science fiction technology that is too far off to even care about. But this is simply not the case. Most reports state that we will start to see driverless cars become commonplace within the next 10 to 20 years. Sounds like crazy talk, right? Not really. When you take into perspective the exponential growth of technology within the last century, driverless cars don't seem like anything out of the ordinary. In 1908, barely over a century ago, Henry Ford devised the Model T, which has paved the way for a revolution in transportation. Radio only became widespread by the 1920s, forever changing the way we were able to communicate knowledge and entertainment. The television only entered American households in the 1950s, barely 66 years ago. Many people forget that the first computers only came to popularity in the 1980s, 30 years ago. The first web page was created in 1991, and the dot-com bubble happened less than 20 years ago. Finally, people failed to remember that Apple released its first iPhone in 2007, less than a decade ago. It's very easy to forget just how far we've come with technology in such a small period of time, and how people in the past would have dismissed the technology we have in the present day as ridiculous and impossible. We are living in the future whether you want to believe it or not, and driverless cars will soon go from science fiction to reality. When taking a look at the timeline and history of autonomous vehicles, the first major breakthrough came in the 1980s with Carnegie Mellon University's NavLab and ALV projects in 1984. Since then, numerous automakers and forward-thinking companies have begun to develop the technology of driverless cars that will become commonplace in our lifetimes. Google, for instance, has created its own fleet of self-driving cars which have driven a total of 1,500,000 miles. This roughly equates to 125 years of human driving, and the autonomous vehicles have encountered over 200,000 stop signs, 600,000 traffic lights, and 180 million other vehicles. But the most amazing statistic to come out of all of this is that the cars have only been involved in 12 minor collisions, 8 of which came from being rear-ended at a stop sign or traffic light, 2 occurred when the car was sideswiped by another vehicle, 1 happened when a driver rolled through a stop sign, and the last one came as a result of a Google employee manually driving the car. The important thing to note here is that none of the accidents came from the self-driving car making a mistake. Let me repeat that because it is such a crucial piece of information. In over 1,500,000 miles, none of the accidents were the fault of the autonomous vehicle. Another company on the forefront of developing the self-driving car is Tesla. It seems unreal that people right now have cars that can drive themselves, but Tesla vehicles have already racked up over 50 million miles using autopilot. And although the car is not fully autonomous, it can perform functions such as helping the driver steer, switch lanes, and park. Early data reports suggest that the car in autopilot is almost twice as safe compared to a person behind the wheel. Not only has Elon Musk rolled out the first semi-autonomous vehicle widely available for the public, he was also quoted as saying, "We're going to end up with complete autonomy, and I think we'll have complete autonomy in approximately 2 years." To further understand what he means by complete autonomy, let's have a look at the 4 different classifications of automated vehicles. Level 0 is just a person driving a regular car. Level 1 pertains to individual vehicle controls being automated, such as electronic stability control or automatic braking. Level 2 occurs when at least 2 controls are automated, like cruise control in combination with staying in the lane. This is the level the Model S is currently classified at. Level 3 lets the driver fully hand over all safety-critical functions to the car, and the vehicle only cedes control back to the driver when conditions become unsafe. Level 4 is when the car is fully autonomous and handles all safety-critical functions for the entire trip, meaning you can sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Some organizations also have a classification for Level 5 vehicles, which refers to a car that doesn't have an option for human driving, meaning no steering wheel or controls. When Musk said he expected Tesla cars to be fully autonomous, he explained, "I mean level 4 autonomy with the probability of an accident is less than that of a person. So obviously the driverless car won't be perfect, as nothing is perfect, but the probability of it getting in an accident will be less than that of a human driver, which is damn good enough for me." Some people might say his estimation is too good to be true, but I'm inclined to believe him. This is the guy who's created PayPal, which he sold for $165 million, SolarCity, SpaceX, which recently won a $1.6 billion contract to bring cargo to the International Space Station, and Tesla, which against all odds has become one of the most popular and fastest growing car brands in the world. So when Elon Musk says he's going to do something, I listen. But Tesla and Google aren't the only companies going full steam ahead with autonomous cars. BMW expects to launch the iNext in 2021, which will be a self-driving electric vehicle. They also recently unveiled a modified version of its i3 electric car which can autonomously park and pick you up when you're ready to go. Mercedes-Benz recently introduced a new 2017 E-Class sedan which has autonomous driving capabilities, which is being touted by many as the most advanced car ever. It has the ability to steer around hazardous obstacles, stay in its lane, and drive in many conditions ranging from stop-and-go traffic to regular freeway driving. Travis Kalanick, the Uber CEO, has stated that he expects their fleet of cars to be fully autonomous by 2030. Audi recently unveiled this new A7 driverless concept car at CES 2015, with the vehicle already having driven itself to the event in Las Vegas all the way from San Francisco. So why should you want a driverless car? First and most importantly, self-driving cars are safer than vehicles driven by humans. Bob Lutz, the former GM vice chairman, explained it by saying, "The autonomous car doesn't drink, doesn't do drugs, doesn't text while driving, doesn't get road rage. Young autonomous cars don't want to race other autonomous cars, and they don't go to sleep." One Virginia Tech study estimated that human-driven vehicles find themselves in 4.2 crashes per million miles, as opposed to self-driving cars that find themselves in 3.2 crashes per million miles. It's also important to note that although Google's self-driving fleet has been in a handful of accidents over the past 6 years, none of the crashes were the fault of the autonomous vehicle, while over 90% of accidents are caused by human error. Also, did you know that in 2015 alone, 38,300 people were killed and 4.4 million were injured on US roads, the largest one-year percentage increase in half a century. And that's only in the US. Each year, over 1.2 million people are killed due to accidents. Knowing all this, it would be negligent and just plain wrong not to start implementing self-driving cars to save lives. Also, if you live in LA, you know just how bad the traffic can get. Sometimes it takes hours to get to your destination, all because of traffic and a lack of adequate communication between drivers. A self-driving car can be programmed to run at a precise speed, maintain the same distance behind a car, and minimize lane change. With all these factors coming into play, researchers say that driverless cars can reduce traffic by a staggering 80%. Self-driving cars will also be hugely beneficial due to the fact that you don't have to drive. Think about all the extra time that you will have in the car. You will be able to sleep on the way to work, eat while commuting, watch a movie, browse the internet, get your work done, you name it. The average commute time worldwide is an unbelievable 50 minutes. That's almost an extra hour added on to your day that was previously not available. The last benefit to consider when looking at the future of autonomous vehicles are the immense savings that will occur. Forecasters estimate that property savings would add up to around $190 billion in the US alone, because driverless cars get in less accidents, which reduce death and injury rates. Because we will see such a rapid decline in accidents, insurance premiums will decrease to all-time lows, and the model will instead protect consumers against technical failures as opposed to human error. 2020 seems to be the year that we will start to see a global shift away from human driving to driverless cars. Some reports state that we will see almost 10 million self-driving cars on the road by 2020, with that number exponentially increasing each year after that. Most reports state that by the year 2040, most cars on the road will be driverless. Some researchers estimate that number to be around 75% of all cars. Not long after that, it is widely believed that countries will start to pass laws making it mandatory to have a self-driving car, as the benefits would be too great not to. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about the future of self-driving cars. Would you want to have one?